I've had clients who were absolutely convinced they wanted new construction and ended up buying a resale home. I've also had clients who started out looking at resale only to fall in love with a brand new home. So, which one is actually the better choice? Welcome back to Love to Live in the Temecula Valley. I'm Catherine Materiali. If you're planning a move to the Temecula Valley, whether that's Temecula, Murrieta, Menifee, Winchester, Lake Elsinore, or one of our surrounding communities, you've probably asked yourself the exact question: should I buy a brand new home or should I buy a resale home? It's a great question, but I actually think it's the wrong place to start. Since I started helping families move to the Temecula Valley in 2009, I've learned that the best decision is usually, it's not about whether the home is new or old, it's about whether that home supports the life you're trying to build. Today, I'm going to walk you through the same framework I use with my own clients so that by the end of this video, you'll have a much clearer idea of which option makes the most sense for you. One thing I see happen all the time is buyers come into the process convinced they already know what they want. I only want new construction, or I don't even want to look at resale homes. I completely understand why. You start scrolling online, you fall in love with beautiful model homes, or maybe you've always pictured yourself living in an established neighborhood with mature trees and lots of character. But here's what I found. When buyers lock themselves into one option too early, they sometimes eliminate the home that actually would have been the better fit. Instead of asking, should I buy new construction or resale, I encourage my clients to ask a different question. What kind of life am I trying to build? Because this decision is about so much more than the house itself. It's about your monthly budget, your commute, the neighborhood you'll come home to every day, where your kids will ride their bikes, how you'll spend your weekends, the community you'll become a part of. When you start looking at it through that lens, the decision usually becomes much clearer. There are a lot of reasons buyers are drawn to new construction, and I completely understand why. Everything is brand new, the roof, the HVAC system, the plumbing, the electrical, the flooring, the cabinets, the appliances. There's something exciting about knowing you're the very first person to live in that home. Another big advantage is builder incentives. Depending on the builder, where they are in their sales cycle, and how much inventory they have, we may be able to negotiate things like a lower interest rate, help with your closing costs, a reduction in price, or even assistance with the cost of the solar. Those incentives can have a meaningful impact on your monthly payment and your upfront costs. Now, here's something a lot of buyers don't realize. Not all new construction opportunities are created equal. If you're buying a home from a dirt lot before construction begins, you'll usually receive the builder's standard incentives. But if the builder already has a completed home that's ready for someone to move into, that's called a quick move-in home. And that's often where things get interesting. Think about it like buying a car. Once a car is sitting on the dealer's lot, every day it remains there, it costs the dealership money. Builders think very similarly. Once a home is finished, they want to get it sold. That's often where we have the greatest opportunity to negotiate additional incentives because they're motivated to move that inventory. Now, if you still have a home that you need to sell before buying, that's where the type of new construction you choose really matters. If you're buying a quick move-in home, builders generally don't want to accept an offer that's contingent on another home selling because they're trying to close on that completed inventory as quickly as possible. On the other hand, if you're buying from a dirt lot and your home hasn't been built yet, builders usually are much more comfortable with you having a home to sell first. Since construction takes several months, there's typically more flexibility with your timeline. That's one of the reasons it's so important to have someone helping you think through the strategy. The best option isn't just about which home you like more, it's also about choosing a buying process that fits your situation. Now, let's talk about something that catches a lot of buyers off guard. The purchase price isn't the whole picture. There are expenses after closing that many people don't think about until they're already under contract. One of the biggest is the backyard. Here in the Temecula Valley, the builder will landscape the front yard. In the backyard, you're going to get a small concrete step right outside the sliding glass door, and that's it. From there, it's up to you. Maybe you're dreaming of a patio cover. Maybe you want turf for the kids or the dog. Concrete, landscaping, plants, irrigation. Whatever your vision is, it's something you'll want to budget for before you move in. And if your community has an HOA, they'll usually require you to submit your landscaping plans within a certain time frame and complete the work within another required time frame. It's not a bad thing. It's just something you want to know going into the process so you're not surprised later. Another expense buyers don't always think about is what's not included. Most new construction homes don't come with window coverings. You'll also need to purchase a refrigerator, a washer, a dryer. Those are all additional costs that aren't reflected in the purchase price. Now compare that to many resale homes. The window coverings are already installed. The refrigerator may stay. The washer and dryer are often negotiable. Those are all things we can discuss as part of the offer. So while a new construction home may be newer, it doesn't automatically mean it's going to be less expensive once you factor in everything that comes after closing. But that's only part of the story, because one of the biggest differences between new construction and resale has nothing to do with the house itself. It has to do with your monthly payment. And it's something many buyers overlook until they're already deep into the process. We'll talk about that next. One of the biggest differences between new construction and resale has nothing to do with quartz countertops or open floor plans. It's property taxes. This is something that catches a lot of relocation buyers by surprise because they aren't familiar with how it works here in California. Most of our newer communities have higher property taxes because of special assessments and Mello-Roos. In many of our new construction neighborhoods, you might see tax rates somewhere between 1.8 to even 2% of the purchase price. Now compare that to many established neighborhoods where the homes were built before Mello-Roos became common. Those tax rates are often noticeably lower. That difference can have a significant impact on your monthly payment. So even if a new construction home looks like a better deal at first, it's important to look at what your monthly payment is actually going to be after you factor in the taxes. Sometimes a resale home ends up giving you a little more breathing room in your monthly budget. And for some buyers, that's far more valuable than having everything brand new. Here's another thing that's good to know in California. New construction homes are required to have solar. You don't get to decide whether you want solar or not. The builder has already selected the solar company and the system that will be installed on the home. When you purchase a new construction home, you're going to have the option to either purchase the solar system or lease it. Now, that isn't necessarily a bad thing. Solar can absolutely help reduce your energy costs, but every family's energy usage is different. Maybe you work from home. Maybe you have teenagers who don't turn the lights off. Maybe you have a pool. Maybe someone is home during the day. The amount of solar that's right for one family isn't always the right amount for another. If you're buying a resale home that doesn't already have solar, you'll have the flexibility to meet with the solar company and design a system that's based on your family's specific needs. Again, neither option is right or wrong. It's simply another trade-off to think through. Now, let's talk about something that can save buyers a lot of money and a lot of frustration. When you walk into a builder's sales office, you're going to meet some wonderful people. I have great relationships with many of the builder representatives throughout the Temecula Valley. They're good people, but it's important to understand who they represent. They represent the builder. Their job is to sell the builder's homes at the best possible terms for the builder. My job is to represent you, to negotiate on your behalf, to help identify opportunities you may not know of or to ask for, to explain the process before surprises pop up, and to walk with you from the day we start looking until the day you get your keys. I've also found that every builder communicates a little differently. Some are incredibly proactive. Others require a little more follow-up. Having someone who's walking alongside you throughout the process can make a huge difference, not just financially, but in how smooth and enjoyable the entire experience feels. If you've been researching neighborhoods, builders, or communities in the Temecula Valley, I'd love to invite you to subscribe. Every week I share videos to help you understand what it's really like to live here, so you can make the best decision for you and your family. And if you're thinking about making a move, be sure to sign up for my Temecula Valley Happenings with Catherine, the newsletter I have. It's a great way to stay connected and learn more about everything happening around the valley. Now let's talk about two clients who taught me a really valuable lesson about this decision. One of my clients, Anita, was relocating from Pittsburgh. When we first started looking, she wasn't focused on new construction at all. We actually started looking in Corona because that's where she thought she wanted to be. Then she flew out. Once we toured the area together, she realized quickly it just didn't feel like home. It was not what she had pictured. So I introduced her to Menifee. We looked at some beautiful resale homes. Then we found a quick move-in home. Because of my relationship with the builder, we were able to negotiate some fantastic terms for her. It ended up being a better financial opportunity than she expected. Today, she's settled in, she's made friends in her neighborhood, she's created a beautiful backyard for herself and her dog Bruin, and she absolutely is loving where she lives. Now let me tell you about another couple, Justine and Gerardo. They were convinced they wanted new construction. In fact, we wrote an offer on a brand new townhome in French Valley. The offer was accepted. But something just didn't feel right, so they stepped back. They took a little time, and eventually they decided to purchase a resale home instead. That decision put them much closer to work. Their commute became only about 5 to 10 minutes. The home had already been beautifully updated in exactly the style they loved. And they also benefited from much lower property taxes. In the end, resale turned out to be the better fit for their lifestyle. Here's why I love those two stories. Neither one proves that new construction is better. Neither one proves that resale is better. They prove that the best decision depends entirely on the person making it. When someone reaches out and asks, Catherine, should I buy new construction or resale? I usually don't answer the question right away. Instead, I start asking questions. How long do you expect to stay in this home? Is this your forever home? Or is this what I call a stepping stone home that's going to help you build equity before moving into your next home? Would you rather have a backyard that's already finished? Or create exactly what you want from the ground up? Would mature trees and an established neighborhood make you happier? Or does the excitement of living in a brand new community appeal to you more? Would lower property taxes give you more flexibility each month? Would you rather personalize your finishes or move into your new home next month? Once we answer those questions, the decision between new construction and resale usually becomes much more obvious. After helping families move to the Temecula Valley since 2009, I've learned something that's true almost every single time. The right house isn't always the newest house. It's the one that supports the life you're trying to build. If you keep that in mind, you'll make a much better decision than simply chasing whatever happens to be brand new. If you're trying to decide which neighborhoods, communities, or homes might be the best fit for your lifestyle, send me a text or an email. I'd be happy to help point you in the right direction. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe because I've got more videos coming that will help you confidently navigate your move to the Temecula Valley. I'd love to be your guide for all things Temecula Valley. We'll see you on the next video.